Alright, so the last time I posted was like 6 months ago, and in that video I swapped out a turbo. And well, this time, after a few thousand miles and a road trip in Montana and some heavy beating because I'm not nice to this car, I was driving back from that and it started burning oil pretty bad and it wasn't boosting right. So I swapped spark plugs as soon as I could, and I found from the data logs I was hitting 27 psi. The boost control wasn't even working, so that made me want to check if I had a leak at the wastegate on the vacuum hose, and the line was ripped off. It wasn't opening the wastegate at all. I drove the car for like a week and it was still blowing smoke pretty bad. And then I noticed some cracks in my manifold, so I ordered some new parts. I don't know why, but I ordered some gaskets, bolts, and a brand new turbo manifold. This is a FP cast race manifold, and it's one of the nicer aftermarket ones that you can get. And I got that instead of a turbo because I'm dumb, and instead of just replacing and buying a new turbo, I got that instead. So here I am taking off the old one that has cracks in it, and then I put that one on, right? So that's how that works. And then this is what it looks like afterwards. This is my dash cam. You just see the oil coming out of it. It didn't make the problem any better. I'm pretty sure it just made the problem worse. So I got a new turbo from my buddy who's got a 1G DSM. It's a really clean build and he's done a lot of work to it, but he already upgraded the turbo and he sold me his old 14B for super cheap. So thank you, Anthony. Anyway, I put that on, or I started putting it on, but that was a week ago and it snowed, and then I had to deal with some crappy weather. And then I went on a road trip for work. I'm back in here. What I had typed up is basically everything that I've done so far and what I have left. And this is just the continuation. This here is the gasket that I just cut out for the J-pipe. And I need to put a layer of RTV on it. And then I should be good to just put everything back together. Hopefully that's the end of it. This is about as much as I could do today. I was having a lot of trouble getting the bolts on the manifold, the turbo's just not sitting in the right spot, and I'm gonna fiddle with it later because, as you can hear, it's raining, got thunder, and I'm not too happy with this right now. So I'm gonna send her home, get a ride from my coworker, and then come on back tomorrow. Okay, it's a new day, it's a new dawn. It's still a little bit rainy. And I have a meeting in an hour, so let's see if I can get this done. Okay, I'm running into problems. So, these bolts threaded in just fine. This bolt threaded in like a breeze. It was glorious, it was beautiful. This bolt right here, this one right here, does not want to thread in because that is, well, stripped out. Oh, and then I dropped the washer inside the boot, so the magnet's not working. They're non-ferrous washers, so I'm kind of having some troubles. Not too happy. Get back to you in a minute. I tried, but I have been defeated. Looks like that thing is not wanting to go in nicely. So I'm gonna try a different bolt and see where that lands us. Sadly, I found a new bolt and it threaded in much easier because it's a lot shorter than this one. This one just got too deep and didn't make it. It's just a sad day. So one day when I decide to tear this all apart again, I can take that off and then rethread it. But for now, it's gonna work just fine. And I'm not willing to take it all apart again. It was too much of a mess anyway. Alright, this is it. It's been charging a little bit and I should be able to start it. Moment of truth is... Oh. I'm driving the car. Drove about 30 miles to the next town over because I'm visiting a friend for his birthday. But the car feels like it's got a misfire. The wastegate's not hooked up and it's still blowing oil smoke. I can see it on the video. Welcome to 1995, where peak performance can be attained through a turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder, delivering 210 horsepower and 214 foot-pounds of torque. With this incredible piece of research and engineering, you can expect to rebuild the engine after only 5,000 miles of use. Wow! Okay, so I've determined that this project runs a little bit deeper than where I previously thought. There's an immense amount of blow-by coming from this engine, and I mean, it makes me think that there's a hole in my piston, or maybe I don't know what it could be. It's got to be something with the rings, or maybe it's the valves, or whatever the case. I'm leaking a ton of exhaust pressure into the crankcase, and that's not good. I've replaced the PCV valve. I've done whatever I could, but the rabbit hole just gets bigger and bigger, and I have no idea where I could start. So, I mean, the turbo I swapped in was pretty much my idea for the fix, but apparently I was wrong. I mean, not entirely wrong, because the car still runs and drives, but the thing was burning oil constantly. Now it's only when I go uphill or partial throttle. It's just a weird setup. This is a 6-bolt block with a 7-bolt head, and allow me to direct you to the video Cylinder Head 109 Oil Port Mod by Jafro Mobile. And in that video, he explains the differences between the different head bolt sizes for the 6-bolt block and the 7-bolt block, and the different sizes in the cylinder head itself. And I didn't machine any of my parts. I didn't have anything correct. So I'm not saying it's causing my issues, but I'm saying that it's a very probable cause to my issues. So I'm going to start with rebuilding the head. I think that's where I'm going to start in this series of videos of me doing all that. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, that's great. If you didn't, that's great. Keep watching. I'm gonna fix my car.